So this is part two. Part one of things people say when they don't want to change and spiritual warfare in the USA um, ended abruptly because of whatever wizard is in my phone that is remotely syncing there that's like to do things in my phone. So, um, so part one, I touched on a bit of the spiritual warfare in the USA, and I mentioned a couple, um, Mr. David Mann and Lady Tamila Mann, who they started to do this tour on love and marriage, I guess, to minister to people on the topic to some degree or edify the body of Christ in that area. And Lady Tamila Mann experienced some level of warfare where her eye experienced some issues. She woke up and her eyes were red. Um, I believe the blood vessel or something exploded or something like that in her eye. Um, and then I believe they were, I guess, supposed to go out or travel somewhere one day. And um, she fell and broke her arm. Um, and these are things that happen. What I experienced recently, and this is how I know it has a more than likely has a lot to do with a wizard. Chances are it may not have to do anything with a wizard because some things can happen naturally. But I shared in the other video things that I experienced from the from Satan and other things the wizards have caused. Especially when I started to stand up or stand out about something um, pertaining to um, what I sought God about concerning someone who went off with my God given spouse. Um, so the adversary didn't like that and attacked me. But being led to Job 2 at some point and skin for skin, and I started to experience certain just weird acne on my face. But I shared a bit of a testimony with that in part one. Um, but the thing with the eye, like um, today and even right now, this left eye, it hurts, but it's weird. And I started to really think they really put stuff in the muscles in the eye, or they really went into my eye when I was an infant in the NICU unit or operating room. Because that's crazy. I mean, I could understand these wizards who are probably portraying themselves as medical staff or scientists, and they studied the brain and then figured out, okay, with the eyes, we can put these devices connected to the part of the brain that's connected to the eyes, and it will project whatever it is, however way they studied and figured out that kind of stuff, right? That's so Raven, it's the future, I can see all that kind of stuff. If you grew up in the USA, you would understand how it all connects, right? So um you get projected visions or dreams and stuff like that, and a lot of it doesn't come from God. But anyway, I thought they put stuff in the brain because I touched on experience an unnatural headache, but I didn't know that they would actually cut your eye and put stuff in your eye. Like that's just like, come on now. And so one of the things I started to experience, like pain in my eye, my jaw, this neck area, right here around my temple area. And Oh boy. I still have a slight headache or pain in that area. But then it's like this this unnatural of this flashing of a light, flashing of a light, flashing of a light, flashing of a light that I was experiencing while my eye was closed. And then it's like I have this pain also going on. It's just very weird. So I realized they actually put devices in the eye, like it confirms that they put devices in the eye. And so when I went to the bathroom to look at my eye, because I think a little bit of eye water started to come from this eye because of the activity that was going on. I saw like this part of my eye, especially this on the side of the eyeball, it was really red. And it's almost like it looks like veins, but it's not veins, it's just like lines, red lines. It's probably blood vessels in the eye. Um, Whatever it is, it's like you could see more of that, and it was a bit red. So they actually do put things in the eye while you're in the NICU unit. And um, I touched on a bit in part one that, there are things that people say because they don't want to change. But to put all these devices in the next generation, it means that there are a set of people here in the USA who they don't want to change. And you can actually see that in how long it takes for things to get done. I mean, they fled from wherever they came from in like Britain and in Europe for religious freedom, right? I guess they're running from Satan. And you can see that with the Amish and certain people who I guess stayed on along the lines of demarcation during 1763 or around that time. But then 1863, like almost like 100 years later, you have what the Emancipation Proclamation and the Civil War going on around that time, right? And then 1963, now you have a civil rights movement going on, right? And I believe 1964 is when the Civil Rights Act was signed. So you see this slow progress. And so if these wizard devices and sorcery and all this kind of things that they do, um, they're doing it especially to people with melanin, women especially, or people with brown skin, right? Melanin. Um, they're doing it because they not only that they don't receive them and they reject them to a great degree, being deceived or influenced by Satan's bitterness, hatred, and deception, um, but they do it to suppress um, the women and the brown skinned people or people with brown skin. Um, so um, and so to do that and to put devices here, 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 pieces of your face here, just it means you don't want to change. So they do that, I guess, because they don't want to change. The moment you start to step out for Christ or for what's right or edify the body of Christ and stand for truth and open your mouth, they don't want change to